श्री पंचतत्व भगवान की जय, श्री राधा गोविंद भगवान की जगत गुरु श्री प्रभुपाद की निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे। नमः विष्णु पदम कृष्ण कृष्ण श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी नित्यानंदे नमः। कृष्ण कृष्ण श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी नित्यानंदे नमस्ते सरस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य संस्कारिणे नमस्ते। Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasari Gaura Bhaktavinda Jaya Shri Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasari Gaura
Vadigacharya Stotra Satashishiman. His Divine Grace Rishi Bhaktivedanta Swami Shri Prabhupada Ki Jai. Iskan Bhagavacharya Shri Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ananta Kota Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Namacharya Shri Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Benzigo Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasali Gaura Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopi Gopinath Shamakund Radha Kund Giri Govardhan Ki Jai. Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Mayapur Dham Ki Jai. Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Jai. Jamuna Maya Ki Jai. Ganga Maya Ki Jai. Tulsi Devi Ki Jai. Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. Samaveta Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. Harinan Sankirtan Yagya Ki Jai. Rihat Madanga Transcendental Book Distribution Ki Jai. ISKCON Ireland Ki Jai. Gaur Premanande. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Shri Guru and Guru Anga. Shri Prabhupada Ki Jai. Hare Everyone put your hands in the air. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare again, everybody together. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare last time, everyone together. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Those who are going to do one more time. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Hare So we're just going to chant a little bit more until we rise. So everyone join in the kirtan. Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Panchatattva Bhagwan ki Jai, Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. So on behalf of ISKCON Dublin, I would like to welcome you all for today's special session, which is the part 2 session with His Grace Pranavananda Prabhuji, all the way from India. So maybe many of you were here yesterday, but we have many new people who joined for today's class. So I would like to take 2 minutes from you all before Prabhuji will start, just to introduce Prabhuji so that we all should know from whom we are going to hear these words of wisdom from the Vedic scriptures. So, Prabhuji was born into a traditional Sri Vaishnava family and received initiation from His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj in 2019 at ISKCON Govardhan Village. Engaged in deity worship, Harikatha and spiritual practices from early childhood. Prabhuji holds a degree in computer science engineering from SRM University, Chennai. Prabhuji delivered over 1,000 plus hours of spiritual lectures worldwide. We added 1.5 hours yesterday, and we will be adding 1.5 or maybe more today as well in Prabhuji's record. So followed by over 1 million people across social media platforms. Maybe many of you are already following Prabhuji on Instagram and YouTube. Globally renowned for powerful Telugu discourses and also speaks fluently in Hindi and English. Frequently featured on major TV channels like Suman TV, iDreams TV, Red TV Bhakti, Sanatan Dharma Vedika and others. Prabhuji is inspiring and guiding thousands of youth, children and families on the path of Krishna consciousness. Prabhuji currently serving as President of ISKCON Adilabad, actively developing a vibrant temple community. He is also one of the personal assistants of His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj, who is one of the prominent gurus and sannyasi in ISKCON society. Prabhuji is director of Radha Govinda Annadan Trust, serving prasad to hundreds, especially in tribal region, and honored with Spiritual Scientist Award by Andhra University. Actually, that's a few lines of introduction which I collected. There is much more accreditations, Prabhuji, which is there, but I think I'll stop here and we'll take more words from Prabhuji's mouth than my mouth.
Thank you. The most austere part of going anywhere is to hear your own introduction. And that too we have to hear every day, sometimes 7 times a day. And the most bitter part is when devotees say that he has 1 million followers. It's not my followers, they are Krishna's followers. That is the mood which we have to be in. Hare Krishna. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Radha I can hear voices from this side, this part of the room. This part of the room is little dull, I guess, because I feel all of you have coming from office or college or something like that. Okay, if you want to be energetic, then the only way is to participate in the kirtan nicely. Only then you will have that shakti to hear the lecture. So many times when we go to the airport to travel, the person who is checking, the security officer, he will ask us, Pandit ji, do you know how to read the hand? Like that they ask while checking us. So we say that we don't know how to read the hand, but I can tell you the solutions of how you can change the readings on the hand. Then everybody is excited. How to do it, Pandit ji? Then we say, if you clap nicely in the kirtan, all the lines will change. How many of you want to change the lines? You can clap nicely, and the second thing, you can sing loudly. Okay? There is one more condition which I'll tell little later, because if I tell you everything together, you may be stressed. What is the topic today?
Stress management.
How to escape stress. So I don't want to give you more stress today. So the two conditions are
clap and sing loudly.
okay. Let us see how many of you do this. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare.
Let us ask Prabhu if we are singing nicely or not. What do you think? Can they do better?
Yes, they are at 50%.
50%? Oh my God. That is not so good. Huh? All the devotees here is giving you 15. Temple manager is giving you 50 means that is equal to 0. Let us try and please him. Okay?
No,
Let us.
no.
Temple manager and then we'll go to the temple president slowly. Prabhu will have higher expectations, so we will start with the temple manager. Let us all sing loudly. The deities here are called Panchatattva. The Panchatattva are originally in a place called Sridham Mayapur in West Bengal. So the expectation is at least Panchatattva in Mayapur should hear. But that may be not be possible, so at least the Panchatattva sitting here should hear. Okay? Let us stand as loud as possible and clap loudly also. Okay? Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Good. I think now you are qualified for the third condition. The third condition is you could sing loudly, clap enthusiastically, and also with a bright smile. If you sing like this, Krishna is also bright. Why is he so stressed sitting in my temple? Krishna is the person who is always smiling actually. If you see any painting of Krishna, except Narsimha, everybody is smiling. So let us add a smile, because when you want to welcome somebody home, you need to smile actually. Only then they feel welcomed, right? So my parents in childhood, they would say when any guest would come, they would say keep smiling always. Don't let them know that we are unhappy with them. So we would always try to have that smile at least artificially on our face, but at least in the temple we should be really smiling. Can I see if all of you can smile or not? Can you please smile? Everybody? Okay, good. Can you show your teeth also now? Okay. So let us add the smile and sing now. Okay? Hare Krishna.
Hare Prabhupada, Jaya Srila Prabhupada.
ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिने नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। वंशाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. I am very happy to be back with all of you today. So, yesterday, after I did the program and I saw all of your enthusiasm, I was really very much happy while going back. I was thinking I met so many good souls today. And I was praying that Krishna and Srimati Radharani and Panchatattva bless all the devotees who are coming very sincerely and participating in the programs. So today I was thinking we should talk about a topic which most of the people are struggling with these days. That is called as stress. How many of you feel that, yeah, it is, stress exists in this world? How many of you feel? Oh, very good. Others? You give stress, you don't take stress. We have only two options. Either you give or take. So whichever party you are. So stress is there always. So today we thought let us deal something about stress. Let us learn some things by which we can maybe not eradicate it completely, but at least reduce it. How many of you would want to learn some tips to reduce stress? Okay, wonderful, very good. So today we will not just be hearing, but also we will be doing some activities. So you can have one partner who is sitting next to you. You can join hands with somebody, and then if nobody has any partner, then we will see what to do. Can you just join hands with somebody who is sitting next to you and make partners? Who is left single, you can let us know. We will try to pair you up with somebody. Everybody done? Okay, everybody got their partners? Yes. Anybody is left alone? No? Okay, good. Only two partners, okay? No, only one partner. Only two should be there. Okay. This is the condition. Okay. So, actually it is said that more than what the situation which life offers to you, it is how you take it which will give stress in this world, if you can see. Last month, I was in a place called Adelaide in Australia. So there, one of my good friends, Chaitanya Bhava Prabhu, he is doing youth preaching there in one of the universities. So he calls me every year whenever I go to Australia to address the youth. So they had offered me a garland like this, very nice garland. So I gave a class, I gave a lecture, and then I went back to my room, and then I saw that something was stinging me in the back. Then it was very, very painful actually. So I thought maybe a honeybee or something like that. Then I reached out and I took that insect. It was black in color, it was long, and it was looking like a ant. So I could feel the pain, and it was reddish, and it was okay. I just saw it in the mirror and I put the ant in the garden. It went. It's about 15-20 minutes this happened. And then I thought, let me just see what is this insect. It is not looking like a regular ant. So I opened the Google Guru and I typed 3-4 words. One thing is ant, long, black, Australia. And then the Google gave Australian black bull ant. 1990 to 2005, how many people have died each year by ant bite? And then below were the symptoms of what will happen if this ant bites. And the first symptom was that you feel feverish. When I touched my body and I felt as if I was having fever. And the second symptom said breathlessness. And I did like this and I was really struggling for air, I was thinking. And the third symptom says you will have red rashes all over your body. I saw my body everywhere, I felt it was red. Then I was really struggling for my life. I called one devotee from the other room. I said, Prabhu, one hand with me. Can you please see if I have fever? He touched my body and he said, sir, you don't have any fever. And the second thing, he saw my body and he said, no red rashes at all. The third thing, he said, I don't know about breath, let me get an oximeter. Got the oximeter and saw it was perfectly 100. Then, after some time, even though the devotee said my mind was not able to get convinced, so I called one doctor in Sydney. I said, Prabhu, this ant bit me and this is what the statistics. So then he said, take one medicine and sleep. Then I took one medicine and I slept. And after I got up in the morning, nothing happened actually. Everything was perfect. But I was just reflecting on the situation. I was thinking, small ant bit me and I was so much worried actually. I was not worried initially. Nothing happened to me. I was perfectly alright. I just knew the sensation of something stinging. But because I downloaded some information which I need not to, it started stressing me out. More pressure developed actually. You see, many times that is what happens in our day-to-day life also. That definitely there are situations in this world which are very tense. But we make it more and more complicated by thinking about it more and more, by analyzing it more and more. So, how do we deal practically and logically so that we may be able to deal with this kind of stress which will happen, which will come eventually in everybody's life at some or the other point? Especially we see that the students and somebody who has gotten into family life very early, so they feel lot of pressure and stress because of, they have to keep up with the family standards and working and job and money and so many different things. So let us try to escape stress today. So we will learn. But I would request all of you to note down whatever you have learned. You can use your mobile phones only with the condition that you will not attend to your Instagram and WhatsApp notifications. But you can write it down nicely, whatever you will learn today. So we are going to learn an acronym which says escape stress. That is what we are going to learn. What is the spelling of escape? E-S-C-A-P-E. The first thing which we have to learn if we want to escape stress is we should understand how much to expect and what to expect. This is the first thing. Like yesterday I was saying that we are not very practical in expecting things from others. But when it comes to do things from our side, we do not do it very nicely actually. So we always want other person to understand us, but we are never ready to understand the other person. See, in Ramayana, how many of you know Ramayana? How many of you have heard Ramayana? Okay, wonderful. In Ramayana, there is a great devotee of Rama. His name is Vibhishana. All of you know Vibhishana? Yes. Whose brother was he? Ravana's brother. So Vibhishana came to surrender to Lord Rama. He was waiting in the sky just for his visa to get accepted. So Rama was going around with all his devotees, whether to accept him or not. So Ramachandra goes to goes to Sugriva and he asks, "Oh Sugriva, should we accept Vibhishana or not?" You know what Sugriva says? "No, don't accept it." So Rama asks him, "What is the reason? Why should we not accept it?" You know what Sugriva says? He is fighting with his brother. How do we accept him in our team? You know what Ramchandra did? He was laughing at Sugriva. You know why? The very reason Sugriva came to Rama because he had fight with his brother. Because he was fighting with Vali and he wanted somebody's shelter, he came to Rama. And when the time came when he has to give shelter to Vibhishana, he is telling the same reason. That he is fighting with Ravana, that's why we should not accept it. See, most of the times we are always in this mentality that the other person should understand us. The other person should have lower expectations. But we always try to have the highest expectations from the other people. So first thing we should deal with is having the right kind of expectations. And the second, E, then the second letter is S. S is having the right definition of success. What real success is. You know, there is an English saying that success is not in the trophy won, but it is in the race run. What it says? It is not in the trophy won, but it is in the race we run. So most of the times, when we understand that we have to give our best, if we have given our best, and if maybe apparently we may not be able to reach, but we pray to Panchatattva that they may bestow you with all success. But sometimes when we do our best and still success does not come, we need not get so much stressed actually. In India, we feel that this thing is so much growing. When I was at the university, I saw that there was one student who had committed suicide in the hostel. So it was a big talk in the entire university, where we were all trying to find out the reason why he committed suicide. You know, he was scared that he may fail in one subject in his semester exams. You know, when the results came, he actually passed in all the subjects. But he was not patient even for the results to come out actually. Because he did not know how to deal with if he fails in subjects. It is so sad actually, you know. So that's why we should have right kind of definitions of success in our... Prabhu, we'll get back to you after the class. So we should have right kind of expectations with what success is. You know, every day we offer puja to the deities in the temple. And after offering puja and doing aradhana, there is one shloka. Mantrahinam, kriyahinam, bhaktihinam, janardana, yatpujitam, maya deva, paripurnam, tadastute. Do you know the meaning of this shloka? You know what it says? That we have not worshipped you with right mantras. Maybe there may be some mistakes. Mantrahinam, kriyahinam. We may not have offered you all kinds of ingredients which are required. Mantrahinam, kriyahinam, bhaktihinam. There is no bhakti, not much bhakti in the heart. O Krishna, Janardana, yat pujitam maya deva, paripurnam tadastute. Whatever I have done, please make it 100%. Suppose you write your semester exams and write Mantrahinam, Kriyahinam, Janardana, yat pujitam maya deva, paripurnam tadastute. Will your university teacher give you 100 marks? If you do something less for your family and you also every day pray to your wife or husband, Mantrahinam, Kriyahinam, today I have put less salt, today I have put less oil, please forgive me, and eat nicely, what they will say? Go and get some salt and pepper now and learn cooking later. Nobody in this world will see your endeavors. The only person who is seeing our endeavors and blessing us each day is Lord. See how merciful He is, how loving He is. Nobody in this world will want to accept us more than accepting us. They do not want to accept our faults. But there is one person who is telling, I will accept you with all your faults. Just come to me. That is Krishna. See how much hope we have in our life. when we come to Krishna consciousness. We may be having apparent faults, but we should always constantly try to rectify them and become a better person. That's why it is said you can commit as many mistakes as possible, but just do not repeat the same mistake again. So you can commit new mistakes, but you can learn and not to commit the same mistake again and again in our life. So having the right kind of definition of what success means is also very important. What is the first one we saw?
Expectation.
Right kind of expectations. And the second thing we saw is right definition of success. What is the third letter in SK? C. C stands for not comparing. Most of the times we try to compare. See in his Instagram there are 10,000 followers, in my Instagram only 1,000 followers. See, somebody was telling me that, Prabhuji, his status 400 people see. My status only 50 people see. I was thinking, so many things actually we start comparing. I just told you very small basic things actually. But we seriously get into mode of comparison. That see what is he doing, why I am not doing it. See, he has bought something, I should also buy something. And in the business of comparison, we are trying to do more than what we actually require. This comparison game is very unhealthy. That will make you work more and more just because we are comparing with others. See, we are not saying that comparison is wrong. You know what we are saying? If you want to compare, compare with yourself. How better I was last 1 year and how much I can improve the next year. In the devotee's life, in devotional circles, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur says that we should compare on every Ekadashi, that how my last 15 days were. So today is also Ekadashi. So today morning, after we finished the puja, when I was doing my japa, I was just thinking for some time that how did my last 15 days go? And what is coming up in the next 15 days? And the most exciting thing which is coming in the next 15 days for me is I am going back to Bharat. And I am really longing to go back to India and to be in our temple and serve the deities there. Actually, it's been a long time that we are missing the deities there and to breathe the polluted air. So, every 15 days, we should check ourselves that how much our sadhana was the last 15 days, what good things I did in last 15 days, what new good habits I want to inculcate in the next 15 days. So today, if you don't know, is a very, very auspicious day. It is the most favorite day of Krishna. It is called Ekadashi. So all of us, we try to do fasting on Ekadashi. So the fasting in ISKCON is very simple. When I was a child, fasting means if you cry and if you are very stubborn, the maximum thing which I would get on the day of Ekadashi is a cup of milk and maybe one fruit. That is what was given to me on Ekadashi. And when I met the devotees in my university, I went to the program on Ekadashi day. They said, Prabhu, please take prasad. I said, prasadam on Ekadashi? What do you eat on Ekadashi? You eat some milk and fruit? They said, no, it is just coming, wait, Prabhu. And you know what happened? I saw 16 tubs coming out. I said, maybe on Ekadashi they have 16 rounds for 16 tubs or something like that. But then when the prasadam came and I saw there were 16 varieties of prasadam. There was Singara puris and Rajgira, halwa, paneer, sabji, potato fries and what not. I was thinking if this was Ekadashi, then I would have done Ekadashi every day. We still many times wait for Ekadashi in our ashram, Once we went to a program in one devotee's house and the devotees made a very big platter of different kinds of fruits and they gave the brahmachari, Prabhu, please honor. I said, no, Mataji, I do not take. So then after going from their house, I was asking, Prabhu, you don't eat anything on Ekadashi? No, Prabhu, I don't eat fruits on Ekadashi. If you go back to the ashram, they are making makhana chaat and sabudana vada. So, the austerity is very simple for the devotees. Today's world, they say somebody got Nobel Prize for saying that if you fast every 15 days, you will get rid of cancer cells in the body. And when the scientists say, then we try to follow what our Shastras have been saying from day one. If we can at least hear what the Shastras say and the importance of practicing these things in our life, then it is so wonderful actually. Hare Krishna. So, Ekadashi today. How many of you have fasting on Ekadashi? Okay, a lot of you fast on Ekadashi. If somebody is not fasting on Ekadashi, you can pray to Krishna that maybe we can start from next Ekadashi. You may be wondering, then what will we eat? No need to wonder, you can come to temple and our Prabhu will feed you nice prasadam.
Yes, Prasad.
We have nice prasad today? Yeah, Ekadashi prasad.
I have a question.
We will get back to the questions once we escape this. So comparison. So we should not compare with every small thing. We should, if you want to compare, we should compare with ourselves. Okay? Till where did we reach in escape? C. S-C-A. C, not C, A. C the A. A is appreciating what God has done for us. In most of the times we are in so much of complaint mode to Krishna. That why you have not done this, 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 why you have not done this. But we forget all the things which He has done. So let us take one moment. All of you remember your partners? Some of your partners have escaped. So I'll give you 1 minute time. Tell your partner, tell each other what all wonderful things by the mercy of Krishna you have experienced in last 1 week.
Last good food.
No, slowly, only to your partner.
What did you experience? Playing kirtan. For me, having nice food. I went down to a nice restaurant recently. Good opportunity in the job. Yeah, I think. Do you come regularly? Do you come regularly?
Okay, Hare Krishna. Good stuff. Just wait for a moment and think that how many wonderful things have happened in last 1 week. And it was just spontaneous. But if you could think every day what all wonderful things happen in each day, you will be so much experiencing Krishna's mercy in our life actually. It is said that we should have a gratitude diary and we should keep writing our gratitude for Krishna, how much we are getting from him. It is said that Krishna's quality is that God gives and forgives. We get and forget. Krishna keeps giving us, and he also forgives us for all the wrong things which we do. But we keep getting, and forget all the wonderful things which Krishna has done. But only we remember something which has not happened according to your plan. And we go and question him, why didn't you do this? But then if we think how much he has done so many things for us, we would never complain. Never complain. So, just in 1 minute discussion, you could find so many wonderful things. If you could do it every day, how wonderful would it be? That's why our acharyas and the day devotees in Bhagavatam, wherever they were praying to Krishna, first thing they did is they expressed their gratitude for Krishna. And thank you, Krishna, for saving us from all these situations and for giving us so many things. So this is first thing which we should learn, that is expressing our gratitude, appreciating what God has already done for us instead of complaining. ESCAP. Don't worry about people's comments too much. People's duty is to comment. If they are not commenting, then you should think, why are they not commenting? If they are passing comments, you should feel, oh my God, I am still in the material world. If everybody is appreciating you, then you should feel something is wrong with me. If people are criticizing you, then you should think, I am a human being, normal human being. You know, criticism and passing comments is very common in this world. If you would take it seriously, then you would not do anything. Have you heard the story of the donkey and the father and son? How many of you have heard the story of donkey and father's son? Okay, let me tell you again because you have not heard it. So one father and son, they purchased the donkey. And both of them were sitting on the donkey and they were going. All the people said, see how cruel-hearted they are. These two fellows are climbing on the donkey and going. You know what the father did? Better we should not be sitting on the donkey. You get down. And the son got down. Everybody started saying, see how disrespectful the child is, that he is making the how disrespectful the father is, that he is making his son, small young son, walk, and he is himself sitting on the donkey. Then the father thought, let me get my son on the donkey and I'll walk. And then they were saying that, see, this fellow is so arrogant, this fellow is nicely riding and his father has to work. And then both of them were thinking, what should we do? You know what they did? Both of them were walking and they took the donkey on their shoulders. And everybody was criticizing how foolish they both are. They are taking the donkey and going. See, any situation wherever we are in the world, people will start passing comments about us. People will criticize us for everything and anything we do. But we should not be worrying about people's comments. We should accept it gracefully. If something is true, if you think something is important for us to work, then you accept it and the remaining you leave it. Suppose somebody has given you 1 kg of fruit, out of which some are spoiled. Like you see the blueberries, sometimes they are mushy and they have this white fungus kind of thing. So what we do is when we clean for the deities, we take blueberries and we see each blueberry around. If it is nice, then you wash it and keep aside. If it is not nice, then you throw it in the dust. So you accept all the comments of people. You see whatever is useful to you, you keep it aside, and whatever you think is not useful, you just throw it away. Nobody is forcing you to eat the spoiled blueberries also, right? So it is us who wantedly eat all the wrong things and we complain that we have a stomach pain. But people are offering you comments, people are offering you criticism. It is up to you how seriously you take it. If you just let it go, you are always peaceful. ESCAP, and the E is empathize with others. We should have this quality of empathy. See, many times what we think is that I am in this difficult situation. I have worked very hard. I am actually trying to do everything. So the other person should empathize with me. When it comes to the other person, we always feel that he is doing something less. He always has a room for improvement. But most of the times we forget that as we expect empathy, we should also show empathy. That's why it is said that when you want to see from the other man's shoes, it is said. It is always said, see from the other man's shoes. So we are very fast in passing our judgments. Anything we see in this world, we pass judgments that, oh, he is like that, so this might be his nature. She is walking like this, so she is this. He is talking like that, so he is that. But we do not really try to understand what the other party is going through. Like one person, one small child, he was going in the train and he was telling his father, see Papa, all the buildings are going back. Like that. Everybody started laughing in the coach. And then after some time, the train was moving through the mountains and the king said, Papa, see all the mountains are going back. And everybody started laughing again. And one person, he could not take it. He said, you are the father of this child. You should tell him that the mountains are not going back. The buildings are not going back. But the train is moving forward. Why are you not telling? Why are you not correcting your child? Father said, I agree with what you say. But my son was blind from his birth. We just operated his vision. And this is the first time he is seeing what is around. So when he is seeing what is around, it is the first impressions which he is getting. So I am letting him learn what he is seeing. But then the person who was trying to comment was really ashamed actually. How did I make so much? So that's a strong judgment very quickly without understanding the other person. So when you start understanding, you feel a lot of connection actually. This is something which is lacking in today's world. So we have finished escape. What did we learn in escape? Anybody would want to remember and recap all the 5 things?
Yeah.
Yes, Prabhu there.
E for expectation.
Loudly.
E for we should not expect more.
E for we should have right kind of expectations. Okay, second.
We should have correct definition of success.
We should have correct definition of success. Yes.
C is comparison. We should not do comparison.
Yeah. We should always compare with ourselves but not with others. Yes.
A means appreciation.
Appreciate whom?
Krishna, what he has.
Appreciate Krishna for what he has done in our life. Yes, and he is doing every day. Yes.
People.
Ignore people's comments. Yes. Empathize with others' nature. So this is escape. What do we want to escape now? We heard?
Stress.
We want to escape stress, not the class. So let us see what stress means also. Okay? So I hope all of you have understood what escape means. How many of you agree that these things are, if applied, will work in our life? With the escape thing. Okay, let us see what stress is. S stands for seeing the sunny side of a person. See, everybody in this world have a bright side and they also have a dark side. Everybody in this world actually. So, what we should see, what we should at least try to see from the other party is what good qualities they have. Like we have the Rath Yatra of Jagannath Ji coming very soon. Jagannath Ji has this big eyes. Oh, what do the big eyes of Jagannath represent? is zoom into the good qualities of others. Is to see and appreciate the wonderful qualities which other people have. So let us do one more exercise now. We may be thinking that one person, no need to tell the names, but you may be thinking in your life that one fellow is a bad villain character in your life. Along with the things which you don't like about him or her, there would be something nice which you have seen in that person in your life. So tell some good quality of the person whom you don't like. No need to tell the name, but one good quality. Why didn't you like him and what good quality he has? Two things. Why you don't like him or her or it or whatever it is. And second thing is what good quality he possesses, which you neglected to notice. It is a tough thing.
It's difficult to pick one.
There are many good qualities or many things why because you don't like him. Oh, okay. Okay, so try. Let us try. You understood what I was saying? Yes. You don't like a person, but he has some good qualities. What are they? Yes, sir.
So, one quality I would say.
No, you should tell to your partner, not to me.
Think about one person who is bad but he has good qualification. Like you hate someone but he has also a good qualification. And then really to share. I don't know. I can't think about it. Like there are many people who we feel like they could have done better. Not like bad, but friends. Yeah, friends. Their behavior is like that, so it's a little different than what we expect. Telugu. Guntur. మీరు
ముంబై నేటివ్
లేదు ముంబైలో
డౌన్ అండ్ బాటమ్ ముంబై.
మీరు చదువుతున్నారు జాబ్ మాస్టర్స్.
Okay, Hare Krishna. See, so the exercise, we see that we may not be liking the person, but we have so many good things to learn from him or her. You see that every person in this world is not made bad or good. It is combination of both. It is up to what we see is how we behave. So we should always have this practice in our lives to always try to acknowledge the wonderful side of people also. So when we start seeing it, when you start seeing the sunny side of people, actually the best thing which happens is that you are happy and nourished. And you become grateful to be in their association. So ST, you know what T stands for? Treat life like a train journey. treat life like a
Train journey.
train journey. How many of you have been in trains? Trains in India are different. I don't know how the trains are in Ireland, but the train journey in India is very interesting, you know.
Yes.
I went in train in the year 2012 for a Kartik Yatra. What happened in that year is that, not in 2012, but somewhere in the year 2012, not for Kartik Yatra definitely. So we were going in the train, you know, Indian trains, you have lot of nice things to eat while you travel in the train. You have more interesting things than you cook on a regular day when you do a train journey. And then you open all the dabbas and start making plates. When we were devotees and we would travel, we would make puris and halwa and potato sabji and lemon rice and papaya jam and some fries. And we would just be waiting when the journey will start. Because they would, so sorry, I am distracting all of you and I'm getting myself distracted also. And I always find it so difficult. On Ekadashi only we keep remembering so many food examples. So with not much distraction. So whenever we would open these dabbas, everybody would be watching. From all the other passengers would be eating some rotten train food. So we would make plates for all of them and give also. And they would ask, "Kahan se ja rahe ho? Kahan se aa rahe ho? Kya karte ho?" and things like that. So one person whom I traveled in the year 2012 till now sends me good morning, good night every day without fail. And I still wonder how he gets so much time. And every day he sends one flower and one good morning quotation every day in the morning. I feel that how much commitment he has towards this seva, that every day he has to go to Google and find the new flowers photo and he has to send, and then he has to type good morning and what not, again he types a nice message, and in the night he types good night also. I still wonder how it is possible actually. So in train journey, suppose you make some friend, you understand that he is also from the same hometown and he is also going to the same city, and you match the vibe as they say today. But you will not tell him that, "Prabhu, please come with me and stay in my home." Or you will not leave your destiny and go and sit in his lap. Correct? You have to go one way and he has to go one way, right?
Yeah.
So many times what happens is we are very attached to people and things, that we do not treat life as a train journey, but we consider everything as permanent. You cannot stop the other person getting down when his station comes. He has to get down. And you also get down in course of your time. But because of excessive attachment to people, because of excessive attachment to things, we actually get stuck up there. So when we start treating life as a train journey, the people will come, we become friends, something may happen in our life and they may go away. Okay, he has his own journey, I have my own journey. She has her own journey, I have my own journey. Let us go on my path. So mistakes happen, but we have all opportunity to rectify them. So the S is see the sunny side, and T is treat life like a train journey. And then next letter is R. You know what R stands for? Right thinking. You know how right thinking comes? When you hear what is right from the right people. Have you heard this principle? Gi-go principle? Gi-go. Good in, good out. Bad in, bad out. So this kind of satsang, all of you actually today are very fortunate. And you should be congratulating yourself for making this decision of coming to the temple and hearing some words of wisdom. Because only when you hear wisdom is when you act wise. If you have no wisdom in your life, then there is no chance to act wise. So the right kind of thinking, the right perspective to see this world comes when you hear the right things from the right people. And who is the right people? And who can give us that right thinking? Is the Shastras. Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita. Krishna is trying to give us the right kind of thinking. And by whose mercy are we understanding what Krishna wants is Srila Prabhupada's mercy. We have Srila Prabhupada books and we have Srila Prabhupada's devotees who are presenting the philosophy of Krishna consciousness in a way which we can understand, in a way to impart wisdom, and we can understand them and have right perspective of life. So, R stands for
Right.
right thinking, which comes from hearing right things from right people. So many times we hear wrong things from wrong people. That is the problem. We do not have that kind of right wisdom. So the wisdom comes only by hearing. So please make it a habit. We have regular satsangs here in the temple. Not only you, but please do get your friends. Because if you experience something good, you are very stubborn about preaching that right thing, right? So once I was at home I went back from ashram. So in our altar, it's closed with curtains. So our puja room. I was doing puja inside to the TTs, and one of my brother's friend, he came and he was telling my mother, "Auntie, you have to see this movie." Then he said, my mother said, "I don't watch movies." Then, no. If you have not seen any movie, but this movie you have to watch. That he said. And then she said, "Okay, I will think." No thinking. I will book tickets and you have to watch this movie. I was inside the puja room and I was thinking, how much this fellow is trying to convince my mother to watch this movie. Huh? You know why? Because he felt that happiness and connection in watching it. So when we feel happy in Krishna consciousness, when we feel that connection with Krishna and Krishna consciousness, the thing which we have to definitely do is preach and inspire others also to come to Krishna consciousness. So if you are coming to the program, we congratulate all of you, but next time when you come to the program, also bring one more person. Because when you sharing is caring, right? So when you share right things, you become even more happier in life actually. And STR and E. You know what E is? It is capital E, which comes from capital I.
Ego.
See, so strange. In the sentence, anywhere you write I, you have to keep it capital. So much ego we have actually. So only when we give up ego, we become stress-free. Only when you identify that I have to be respected, I have to be treated well, that is when we feel very miserable, because we are having that high expectations. So when the ego is gone, when you are humble, you become grateful. When you have that ego, you always complain. STRE. The next is S. S stands for a very big thing, very important thing which all of us do these days. You know what? It is stressing. For what? Impressing. The second last S in stress is stress to impress. Most of the times we are in the business of impressing other person, we are trying to stress ourselves more and more and more, which is making us miserable. That's why it is said in the race of impressing others, we are trying to get the things which we don't need and trying to do something which we are not. Just because we want to impress somebody. So when you think in your life that we need not impress anybody in this world, and the fact is nobody is going to be impressed with us. The only person who is sitting with a, like in London I saw that there was one person holding a board, free hugs, and then he was holding that, and nobody was going to him actually, maybe some crazy person would go. But somebody has a board also, like free hugs, always eternally having this board is Krishna.
Yeah.
Only one person who is having this board that I'll be impressed with any small thing you do is Krishna actually.
Yeah.
But we leave him aside and we try to impress everybody in this world who cannot be impressed with how much ever endeavors we make. So don't stress to impress others. But if you want to stress to impress, try for Krishna. And the last thing is to make you less stressful is we are ending the class now. And the last S is not express, not suppress. What? Your desires. If we express our desires, most of the times it is devastating for others. If we suppress our desires, then it is devastating for us. We cannot express, we cannot suppress. What we can do is sublimate. You know what sublimate means? Is to understand and let go. We can, if you do not want to express, not suppress, but sublimate, the only thing we have to do is to be in the right association of devotees. Only when you perform sadhana, only when you perform seva, and only when you are in the association of right devotees, that is when we get the strength to sublimate our nature. So our nature may be very strong. It may always push us for expressing. And sometimes it may think that don't express, you will fall. You such resist. Both of them will not work. In time, we should know how to sublimate it. And that will come by three things. All of us can practice these three things. One thing is sadhana. Do you know what is sadhana? Sadhana is spiritual practice. All of us should have some spiritual practice in our lives. Like the spiritual practice which all of us as devotees have is chanting the holy names. How many of you have chant japa here?
I have.
So most of us are not doing it. So let us try to inculcate this one nice habit of chanting japa. You know japa? Japamala? We have japamalas, Prabhu here. So if you contact Prabhu, will give you one japamala. Today is a very auspicious day to begin japa. Today is the Ekadashi day. When I began chanting also, it was Ekadashi day. So, you know what happened? So some devotees came to me and they said, today is very auspicious day, Prabhu, it is Ekadashi, would you want to start chanting 2 rounds? 2 rounds of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. I said, 2 rounds? I'm already in the university, I have so many assignments to write, and I have this engineering graphics charts to make. Very stressful for me. So I thought, how will I chant 2 rounds of Hare Krishna Mahamantra? But then I was thinking, our devotees are asking that too on an auspicious day of Ekadashi, that too in front of Krishna. How can I say no? Then I accepted. And the devotees understood the weak point. And the next week, again, after 15 days, again Ekadashi came. And they said, Prabhu, are you chanting 2 rounds? They said, yes, Prabhuji. Can you chant 4 rounds? 4 rounds of Hare Krishna. Oh my God. Then I said, okay, again they hit at the right spot by asking before the deities on the Ekadashi day. So then we accepted. And the next Ekadashi again they said, can you chant 8 rounds? I said, this is getting too much. But then I obliged. The next Ekadashi again they said 16 rounds. Okay. Then no, they said 12 rounds. And then came Narsimha Chaturdashi. And then they said, Narsimha, they will protect you if you chant 16 rounds. I wanted protection, so I took up 16 rounds. So the day when they asked to chant 2 rounds, I was feeling, how can I manage 2 rounds? But today we are chanting 25 rounds every day and making time 64 rounds on Ekadashi and 128 rounds on the days of Nirjala and Haridas Thakur and so many other days. And how Krishna is giving time? Because when we make priority for it. Whatever you prioritize in life, you get space for it. So once we were sitting in the ashram and at Eco Village and all the brahmacharis were having prasad. So it was a South Indian feast. There were many items. And one devotee was sitting next to me. He said, oh my God, got stomach pain, I ate till the throat, I'm going to vomit now if I eat anything. Any devotee would ask anything, he would say, no, go ahead, like that, he would send them off. And finally, one devotee was distributing big gulab jamuns, this big. And that devotee just passed away. This person said, hey, Prabhu, come here. Prabhu, what do you need? You need some water? No, I need gulab jamun. Like that. Yeah, why do you need gulab jamun? Now only you said that your stomach is full. I said, no, my stomach is full, but it has space for the sweets, he said. Why he has space for the sweets? Because he likes it. So whatever thing you like in your life, you make space for it. So when you think that spirituality is important for me, sadhana is important for me, you make space for it. So sadhana, and the second thing is seva. There is something called, Prabhupada said, devotional service. He never just said devotion. Service means seva. Like if you want to do some service, all of you may be wondering, how will I do service? You come to our Prabhu sitting here in the green kurta, and his boss who is also sitting in the green kurta. If you go to them and ask, they will never leave you. Only thing is you should put your phone switched off sometimes, maybe to get rid of them. But we have so much seva in the temple. So when you start doing some small service, when you come to Krishna and when you do so much service, cleaning the temple, getting the deities ready, serving prasadam, cooking in the kitchen, going for harinam, book distribution, so many services. And when you do small bit of seva, when you start doing it, then you feel so much nourishment. Sadhana, seva, and the third thing is Sadhu Sanga. So every week we have satsang here. Prabhu, would you want to announce when do you have satsangs here?
Yes. I'll have another note. So we have regular programs every Friday.
You can tell them, not me.
We have regular programs every Friday. Like today, we are having 6 to 7 we have Bhagavad Gita class, and 7 to 9 we have Kirtans. Every Sunday we have Sunday Love Feast program from 4 p.m. onwards. Kirtan and then discussion, Katha, Aarti and Prasad. And we have Saturday Harinam Kirtan as well on the street, and regularly on all the festivals, major festivals we celebrate here. So many more opportunities.
Yeah. So we have so many opportunities for Sadhu Sanga. So you could keep coming regularly and associate with wonderful devotees here, learn so many nice things, do some seva and become serious in sadhana, which will make us sublimate our nature and sublimate our desires, which may be dangerous if we express or suppress. So let us revise how to escape stress. E for expectations, having the right kind of expectations. S for right definition of success. ESC for not having unhealthy comparisons but comparing with yourself. ESCA appreciating what Krishna is doing for us. ESCAP
Don't worry about
ignoring people, comments and criticism. ESCAPE empathize with others' nature. Okay? All of you have escaped. What we are trying to escape is stress. The first S stands for seeing the sunny side of people. And the second S is T for treat life as a train journey. Do not be overly attached. STR stands for right thinking, which comes from right hearing from the right people. STRE, E for get rid of ego and become humble. ESTRES, don't stress yourself to impress others. And the last S is don't express, don't suppress, but sublimate by having sadhana, seva and sadhu sangha. Hare Krishna, Krishna
Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare.
Hope this small presentation would have helped you in a small way in your lives. And this is something which is very insignificant which we have presented. But the more you keep coming to the temple and the more you keep doing sadhana, seva and sadhu sanga, then you can be the most wonderful person of your maybe whatever version of your life is. And it is homework, it does not happen overnight. We just have to keep trying and trying and trying to become that best devotee we always aspire to be in our lives. So I wish you all the best, and I will pray for all of you that may Krishna and Srimati Radharani and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Nityananda Prabhu bless all of you in all your wonderful endeavors, and may they give you strength to progress on the path of devotional service. You can also in turn pray for me that I can also do some humble service to Hari Guru and Vaishnavas. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Should we have some questions?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, yes, Madhavi.
Yeah. So Prabhuji, I came last year to Dublin, and when you said about the comparison, okay, that is we should always compare things like how we'll grow in life, and we should always compare how like our journey is, and we should compare things with ourselves. It has to be better each day. So when I last year when I was living in a student accommodation, I had one. She's my friend. When she told me, now she works. She's elder than me. So she told me that I want to be the best. I just want to be the best. Simple. I want to do things on my own. I want to do the best. That's it. So I said, and then she gave me an example of other person, she's very much inspiring and I have to be like her, I want to be the best. So like a competing mindset that she had. So I just said, very simply I said, that you should always compare yourself with you. Like whatever you are bad at, you should work on that. So on that she gave me a reply that if I don't compare, this is what she said, if I don't compare myself, looking at someone, if I don't compare, I want to be like this person, if I don't take that inspiration and I don't compare, then how will I move in life? So this is what she...
Okay, what we are saying is not compare, but you can always take inspiration.
Yeah.
Don't go behind comparison, but go behind inspiration.
Yeah.
Inspiration should always be there. But what comparison means and what inspiration means is a very big difference between comparison and inspiration. When you have some inspiration and it just motivates you, but when you are comparing, it also discourages you when you don't do it, when you cannot be. So what we are saying is don't have unhealthy comparison, but always take inspiration. That I want to be like devotee, I want to be like that devotee who is serving nicely, I want to do sadhana like that devotee, I want to be successful like that devotee. Yes, that always can happen. At the end of the day, we should not hurt ourselves. If that is happening through comparison, we should keep ourselves.
We should not keep inspiring person.
Yes, yes, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. His Grace Pranavananda Prabhu ki. It was a very eye-opening lecture for me, Prabhu. Thank you so much for that. I have just two questions that I want to ask you. Number one is, in case of comparisons, as we all know that the best thing to do is to compare with ourselves and to make ourselves more and more better. But if our parents or if our family members are even though they have the knowledge and understanding and everything about this, still they compare us in India, mostly parents, they do compare you with others and say, oh, look at him, he's succeeding, look at this person, he's succeeding, she's succeeding, but look at you, you are just stuck in the same position. So one is what my question was that if they are comparing like that, then how can you make them understand that what they are doing is wrong? And then my second question was that you also mentioned about we should not worry much about people's comments, right? People's negative comments. Like if we take positive comments, it is of course it is very good for our own benefit. But when some people, even though you don't like it and you still tell them, please don't do it, I don't appreciate it. Still sometimes they do it purposefully to annoy you or to irritate you so that their job gets done through you. And if you are too nice or if you are too appreciating, they don't understand that, okay, you are just being nice because you don't want to hurt them. But they do it purposefully to get a reaction out of you or to make you do what they want. So how to avoid or how to come across these two situations? Prabhu?
I got it. The first thing is, see, Krishna has given everybody different talents actually. If elephant's greatness is compared by the ability to climb a tree, elephant will miserably fail. Correct?
Yes.
So, elephant has different capacity. But a cheetah has a different capacity. Cheetah can be in 1 second up the tree. But we cannot keep elephant and cheetah and have a competition. Who climbs the tree first will win. What will happen? Elephant will not climb the tree, but tree will come down to the elephant. So it has different nature and different capacity. So we should just be convinced ourselves. We cannot convince the entire world, Prabhu. We just have to be convinced about our abilities and what we can do in our life. If at least you are convinced, you will not be worrying so much about people's comparison. The problem comes is when we ourselves are confused actually what I want to do in life and what I am doing. So that is when everybody's words will affect us. So we should have that picture clear in our life. What I am capable for and what I am doing. That is the first thing. Second thing you said is people commenting. So sometimes when you know that they are doing it, you just have to accept it and live with it. Some people have some different kinds of nature, like speaking sarcastically and pulling our legs and thinking like that. But in India, when we go for programs, especially in Hyderabad, especially in the evening time, you know how much it takes to go about 3 kilometers? It will take you 3 hours. So you cannot do anything. You cannot fly. You can just think, oh, this is traffic time. I'll take a book and read all the 3 hours. And you can just sit in the car and wait for the car to move, if by Krishna's mercy, if it moves. So some things we will have to accept that this is how it is going to be. What you are going to do in that situation is what you think. If you think that, arey, why is this traffic? What is the government doing? What is this fellow doing? What is the traffic police doing? Why is the red light now? What will happen? You are unnecessarily getting agitated. You think, oh my God, the world is like that. What can I do? Maybe call my bachpan ka dost and have a video call by the time this traffic signal comes. So you just have to accept and do whatever is needed there, which will make you happy and enthused. So in every situation, that is what we should think. We cannot change the world. We cannot change other people. We just have to accept and try to live with it. Hare Krishna.
Hare.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. The question is not really relevant to the lecture, but it was mentioned that you were born into a Sri Vaishnava family.
Yeah.
So now you're a senior monk in sort of a Gaudiya Vaishnava. So what difference do you find between the Sri Vaishnavism and the Gaudiya Vaishnava?
I did not find any difference as such. All the Vaishnava Sampradayas are same. But what I felt was very nice here is the kind of association we have in Gaudiya Sampradaya, especially by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada in ISKCON. We have everything arranged if we want to progress in the path of Krishna consciousness. So everything, the association, the seva, the guidance, the training, everything is available here. And it is such a beautiful and sublime process actually. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, we can go back to Godhead just by chanting and dancing and feasting. That is the process of Krishna consciousness. You need not work very hard to achieve Krishna. Like for those who have come to Kumbh Mela, you would have seen all the sadhus are without clothes and bathing in the Ganges, which is so cold at morning 2 a.m. And they are submerged till their neck and meditating in the cold waters. And during the day when sun is hot, they are putting 5-10 fires around them and one fire on the head also and meditating because they want to reach Krishna. It's such a difficult, austere process. But for us, on the path which Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu showed us, just chanting, dancing and feasting is the way we can reach Krishna. So it was so simple actually. I felt this process is relevant and for me it is best and for the entire world, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's process is the only hope by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada. So if you would have said our Prabhu is telling you, next Sunday feast when you come, maybe Friday class when you come, everybody will get one pot of fire and you have to put it on your head and sit here and meditate. How many of you will come? None of us may turn up actually. But here we are having nice kirtans, nice lectures and nice prasadam. See how nice it is. Just by having this you can go back to Krishna. Such an easy process. Yeah. Yes, Mataji, Krishna is there.
Thank you so much for the class. It was really helpful. My question is, I wasn't able to understand why expressing our desires will cause.
It will not cause stress to us, but it will cause stress to other parties. So when you start expressing whatever is there in your mind, then people, it becomes very stressful actually for other people to understand and to adjust. So, and if you keep it with yourself, then it causes problem for ourselves because we are keeping too many negative things and so many times people ask this question, Prabhu, I have strong emotions. If I bust out, then people cry. If I keep, then I cry. Then they ask, what should we do? Don't cry. Don't make others cry. You also don't cry.
Best to go to rehab.
Best to go to rehab?
That's what is a mental obviously.
Yeah, it is very easy to say, but it's very difficult to follow. For that, we will have to, that's why we were saying, sublimate it with Seva Sadhana and Sadhu Sanga. When that happens, then you understand actually how to deal with this world.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you very much for this wonderful and heart-touching lecture. It was really very nice lecture. Prabhuji, I have two questions. My first question is that sometime when it is through the lecture only, when you said that when we are coming together, we should bring our more friends to the temple. So Prabhuji, sometime when we are chanting, at that time people say, why are you chanting, what you are doing that? So how can we introduce this is Krishna consciousness? And like sometimes I say that it's a transcendental vibration what I'm doing like this, and so it will bring you more closer to the Krishna. So they don't take that thing that serious as compared to they think going out, moving out, that is more beneficial. So my question is, how can we meet more devotees? And the second question is that Prabhuji, as you said, we should bring more people or more devotees to the temple. You can see with this devotees, our temple is fully packed, and some of our devotees are sitting on the stairs also. So how can we get bigger temple? Like
The second question will be answered by Prabhu there. But I can say when all of you work hard and contribute to the temple, then maybe we can purchase a bigger temple somewhere. Yeah. Already they have plans of purchasing a farm, and I hope we do it very fastly with all of your help, and then you can inspire and you can have a bigger temple with nice deities and beautiful seva and cows, and you can have a nice example for entire Ireland. So how can we have a bigger temple is when you are determined to make a bigger temple. Right? Wonderful, very good. So the first question you said is how to inspire our friends. See, the first thing before inspiration is that you set the right example. I'll tell you two things. One sad part of one story and the good part of another story. So back in our university, there was one very bright student in our class who would always get first. He's from UP. And one very innocent person from Andhra also, he went and asked this fellow from UP, how do you get first all the time? You know what he said? I drink every day. That is what he said. And this simple fellow from Srikakulam got so confused. He came to me and he said, I was CR that time. So he said, I asked him, how does he come first? He's saying because he drinks every day. That he is just playing around. It's not truth. So this was there in my mind always, that how he answered and how he went to him. And then later, when I got service in our temple in Adilabad, I went to a school where most of our devotees children studied. They were having a science fair. I went and saw in school, at least around 200 kids were having tilak. I said, do we have so many devotees in Adilabad? He said, no, Prabhu, only we have 15 devotees studying in this school. I said, how these 200 people are putting tilak? The devotee said, all our devotee children are always first in their class. And every time all the children would ask them, how did you come first? They would say, because we put tilak and we chant, we are first in the class. And it's inspired so many people, and teachers nowadays also put tilak in their school. They are not devotees. They just come to our programs. But they like putting tilak because they feel if we also put tilak, we will also be first. You know why they got that inspiration? Because people whom they were seeing with tilak were a perfect example. So when you are very nice with your acharana, when you do whatever you are doing very perfectly, when you study nicely, when you work nicely, when you treat other people with kindness, when people see, definitely they would like you, they would ask you, how are you able to do this? And when you tell them, this is because of Krishna's mercy, and then they would immediately take to Krishna consciousness. So first you should be the right example. And when you preach to the people, you may not say that because of chanting we will go back to Godhead. They will think what Godhead is talking about. They may not understand. You know what you can tell them is, this is what helps me in keeping my emotions right, in giving me clarity of thought. This is what helps me in having right kind of motivations. This is what helps me in concentration. And the best thing about chanting is, this is what gives me Krishna's protection. So these are some things which everybody wants. So when you speak in the way they understand, then they may relate and come. Hare Krishna. I think we should stop here. It's too late today, and I have to go.
One last question. He always comes to the class.
Okay, so with the temple president's recommendation.
I'm more about Hare Krishna, and thanks for your lesson, and thanks to Krishna as well that he brings you to here. Just one personal question maybe. Wanted to understand how your daily routine goes, or what a person should follow. I know there is a lot of information on the Google internet, but what is your recommendation how your day goes?
So we should follow this principle, which is 8, 8 and 8. How many of you know 8 and 8 and 8? Some of you already know it. 8, 8, 8 principle you should follow. 8 hours for body, 8 hours for work, and 8 hours for soul. So 8 hours for body, which consists of maybe 6 hours of sleeping and 2 hours of eating, baking and other things. And then 8 hours for work. Do you have 8 hours of work or 9 hours of work? 8 hours. 8 hours of work. And then 8 hours for the soul. 8 hours for the soul also includes some of your sadhana and some seva and some nice understanding about life by hearing spiritual discourses and lectures and spending time for your health, family and society. So many times we forget spending time for ourselves, that is to take care of our health. How many of you have this habit of regular exercise or yoga or meditation or anything like that? You see, you have come so far to Ireland, but so many Western people here, they're always walking and exercising and so many nice things actually. Wherever I go in the world, especially when I saw in Australia, everybody, nothing, you cannot find anything after 7 o'clock. We needed milk and the devotee had to drive for 10 miles to get milk after 7. And every day at 5:36, all the lights are on. They are always on the road doing some exercise or something because they're so fit. So many times we do not give time for our body. And the second thing is we do not give the time for our family. Wherever we are, suppose we are here, and just a small thing which we can do is talk to our parents every day. I was in London, Radha Londoneshwara's temple. How many of you have been to Radha Londoneshwara's temple? some of you have been there. So I was in the Brahmachari ashram, and one devotee, he had a sadhana card, just waking up, sleeping, chanting, seva, book distribution, sankirtan, and then he had one column calling mom, and then he was sticking every day. I felt it very sweet actually, that you should try to give some time in your life to spend quality time with the family, like your child. If you have a small child, just sit and talk to him. If you are newly married, just sit and talk to your wife about good things happen. How many of us do that thing in our life actually? Body and relationships. The third thing is giving time for the soul. That is sadhana, as I was mentioning. And the fourth thing is giving time for the society. That is to some seva which you can do. So 8 for body, 8 for work, 8 for the other things. If you could do that, then you are successful. But for a brahmachari, it may vary because we do not have any work and our family. So it will vary based on the situations we are. But if you follow this 8-8-8 principle, you are balancing your life very nicely. Okay? With this, we will stop here.
We are really very grateful and thankful to His Grace Pranavananda Prabhuji. His Grace Pranavananda Prabhuji ki jai! Our 2 days was really wonderful, yesterday and today. We got so many nice and practical things by which we can improve ourselves. So let's chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra together to seek blessings from Sri Panchadatta and Prabhuji and other devotees. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So we have prasad for you all, Kadashi prasad. Maybe 2-3 volunteers can go now just to arrange prasad at first, and then later we can join.
We can do 10 minutes kirtan and then we can all go for prasad by the time the prasadam is arranged, okay?
So we will do 10 minutes kirtan, so please be here. So I have 2 announcements. First announcement is on Sunday, because Prabhuji suggested like we all should come together to temple more often. So on Sunday we have a very wonderful program arranged for you all. One more devotee from India coming over here, Govinda Krishna Prabhu. Maybe many of you know him by Instagram or YouTube with the name GKD. So he's coming here. He's also having hundreds and thousands of followers on Instagram and over social media. So he's coming here just to share some thoughts and words of wisdom on scriptures, Bhagavad Gita, and about Kurukshetra Dham and Mahabharata. So you all are welcome. You all are invited along with your friends and family. Second announcement is, as Prabhuji suggested, we should start chanting. Those who are not chanting and are interested to get the beads, bead bag, or tilak, because Prabhuji suggested, right? If we apply tilak, maybe we can get more inspired. So tilak or any other paraphernalia, we recently, just 2 days back, got our shipment from India. You can contact Kaushal Prabhu. Kaushal Prabhu is here. He's looking after all this. Please get beads, bead bag if you want to start today. Today is Ekadashi. So now we will request Prabhu.
You will get 100 times more mercy if you start chanting today. So it is a very big offer. Please utilize it wisely.
So we will request Graceman Prabhu for 10 minutes kirtan so that we all can dance and make some space for the prasad in our stomach, right?
Hare Krishna, I am also very grateful to Prabhuji for giving us this chance to speak something. Hare Krishna Prabhu, we seek your blessings also. Hare All of them sit
we can sit for a while and later we can stand and dance. Okay, we can sit for a few more minutes.
Maybe you can stand, maybe you are tired if you want. You can stretch yourselves once and then maybe
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
That was so nice the last time. Thank you so much.
What do you?
Hare Krishna, Hare Okay, Hare Krishna.
Evil.